So we'll start with public input. Nothing, you guys are just,
One thing just to, if it's something to maybe look at.
Yep.
I work in public health. I work with the Healthy Active Living Coalition in New Hampshire, and they issue a report on access to recreation in various New Hampshire communities. So just like, once in a while, take a look at it. So it just kind of shows access to open play areas, recreation facilities in the state, in communities that might be relevant for some of the work we're doing.
oh, neat.
Pete, I'm sorry, your last name's Moore, right?
Nope.
No, okay.
But Peter Moore in town?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There is a Peter Moore in
He's a
town,
baseball
yes.
guy. He's a former baseball guy.
Right, he was looking for, Keith was looking for Peter Moore's contact info the other day?
Yeah, I sent it to him.
You did, okay, good.
Yeah.
It's Ames, A-M-E-S.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so no other public input? Do you have any requests? The one thing that we need to iron out from the meeting is Sundays at Talent. I'm just gonna work with baseball and softball and soccer and pickleball to work something out so everybody's happy. We'll just sort of work with what we got, and then if there's a conflict and we can't make everybody happy, then we'll just bring it up for a board meeting, a board vote, so.
Okay.
But I think there's enough hours in the day we can
Yeah,
divvy it up.
I know we were gonna do, I think softball said evening,
Yeah, once after January 1st, but you
Yeah.
can have my time.
in the morning in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the schedule isn't set yet? Is that basically it?
I gotta do it I'll be doing it in the next couple of days and, sending it out. I'm just gonna send it to the 4 groups that are concerned and just get some feedback on it.
Right.
But try and get everybody something so that at least what they needed is met. The other thing I'm waiting for, basketball's finalizing their practice schedule. So once I get that specific schedule and it frees up the other blocks, I'm hoping that might free up some time so that, like if softball's like, well, you know what, we could use 2 hours on Thursday night instead of a couple hours on Sunday. That might alleviate some of the congestion on Sunday. So I'm hoping that'll come forth.
There was a request for town hall on the 10th
Oh yes, December 10th
from
for
603 Cornhole.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
I have that
Yeah.
here. Are you ready for that one?
yeah, we're taking
Think so, yeah.
requests.
Okay. So Sean Haley and Brian Fletcher contacted me about doing an event similar to what we did last year. We co-sponsored it with them last year. Last year it was a Toys for Tots tournament. They just, the entry fee for the tournament was to bring a toy, and they collected several boxes and distributed those. This year they're doing it a little bit differently. They're actually going to have 2 different charities. You can pass it down to them. Mike, you want to- You're going to have 2 different charities that benefit from it. First, any of the proceeds from it, they'll have the payouts for the winners, but then after that, any of the proceeds will go to the Litchfield Angel Tree. And then they're also, as part of the registration for the tournament, you have to bring a teddy bear, and that's going to go to the New Hampshire State
Troopers.
Police Project Smile. So they'll have both of those will benefit from the tournament. So, I believe on the date, I was just pulling up the calendar. They were looking at trying to get in there 6 to 7. I'm
6
sorry,
to
6 o'clock to 11 o'clock. I think pickleball is currently scheduled till 8. I'm just verifying that.
Yeah, on the 10th.
So it would have to talk to them and see if they can adjust that, if that would be an issue, which I think we did the same thing last year and it wasn't, they were fine with that.
The one-up events on Saturday nights, they know come and.
Yeah. So I guess initially, aside from the actual scheduling of it, part of the request is to see if we can structure it the way we did last year, where there was a rec commission 603 co-sponsored event.
Is there gonna be alcohol involved?
I have to look at the.
I don't see it on the flyer, so it's,
I'm looking at it now.
oh, no, yes, it is.
It
Yeah.
says BYOB on the flyer that they put together. So I would say.
So we
yes.
just need the police detail and,
Yes, and there was a discussion on that about, because it's the state police charity is involved in this as well. There may be some contractual issues, but I'll talk to the chief here about the possibility of, instead of having a Litchfield officer do a detail, about having the state police do it, donate the time or have a volunteer do it. Because we have several in town that live in town that would probably.
yeah, it would have to go through the chief.
Yeah, I know they have some contractual things that they have to deal with on that, but, so that's an option on that.
Now, will you be attending?
Most likely,
Yes.
I haven't even, I'm not even sure if I'm in town, but I'm pretty sure I am, so.
All right, I think we just need to make sure that one of us is, if it's gonna be a co-sponsored event from
Yeah.
us, one of us just is sort of there to oversee it and,
Okay, all
um,
right. I believe they emailed us as well on that,
They
right?
did.
He sent me the
We
flyer.
have the request.
So-
Yeah.
I think it's a great, it's a great thing to do. It's-
Yeah, last year was, they expect a bigger turnout this year. Last year was decent, and they collected a ton of stuff, because most people, instead of just bringing one item, they bring 2 or 3 toys, and they just
Yeah.
had boxes of stuff. It was great. It was really nice. So they've kind of expanded on that. They're gonna do some advertising this year for it, instead of just emailing people that they know. They plan on advertising in the paper.
And we can put it in the Litchfield What's Up.
Yeah.
That'll get a lot of attention and.
So I guess I will motion, I guess the first motion would be to approve the co-sponsorship of the event for the, what do they call it, the Toss for Tots Cornhole Tournament on the 10th at Town Hall.
A second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
And that was December 10th, to clarify.
Yeah, 6 to 11, right?
Correct.
Okay, so no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed and abstained, so it carries 5-0-0.
All right, second motion would be to approve usage of Talent Hall for the event. And that would be pending working out the scheduling with pickleball.
Do we need to also,
And a police detail.
With-
And-
yeah, with the- yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
okay. And,
I'll second that then?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion on the event itself. No? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. So it's 5-0-0.
all right,
So
so
that passes. So if you want to contact them and,
I will make sure that we work out the police detail, and I'll talk to pickleball as well.
okay.
Now, we don't have a meeting prior to that, right?
No.
No.
No, that's the first.
No, okay. All right, so I'll email everybody and when I confirm those.
Are you taking down notes because my docs aren't working?
Me? No.
If you just the motions.
Okay, so, both motions and both passed, okay.
Yeah.
One was for co-sponsorship and the other one was for the use of talent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other requests? So we'll go to some correspondence. I did get, we're going back and forth with Jason Brennan from Litchfield What's Up. They are gonna do a vinyl night at the beginning of the comedy show, which is nice. So that'll make it's just a real fun community event. So if you're watching this, all 3 of you, if you want to buy a ticket, just go on to Litchfield What's Up and order it. Jason and Pete would love to have you there, and we would love to have you there. But also in the conversation, the request from Jason was, I guess, I'm not sure who does it for the budget committee, but he was wondering if one of us would mind doing a quick little report, just a recap of our meetings on the Litchfield, what's up. Not necessarily the motions, but just sort of give everybody an idea of what's transpired and what we're doing, and I believe, and he's right, it'll probably help a lot of people get involved if they see the stuff that we've been talking about and doing, and how to get involved, people will feel a little bit more at ease.
All right, I can take care of that. Just as far as that's concerned, since I showed up a little late, did I miss anything that?
Yeah, we saved the world, and
No,
then,
I'll put that on there.
also, I got correspondence from Pickleball. They wanted to make another donation, so I was talking to Pete, and he asked for some ideas, and one of the things he wants to contribute to the Justin Bissett Field. So they're going to be writing a check for that.
Excellent. Thank you.
And then he asked what we could use at the hall, and we were talking about possibly getting tables, but then we found a small portable scoreboard that they can use for pickleball, but other groups can use. Basketball can use, just, it's got a small clock and scoreboard. I think it's 28 inches wide, 24 inches high. It's a tabletop version, so they're donating that. I actually ordered it, and so that'll be in. So we'll have
Don't
that.
we have one of those at Town Hall? I thought we did.
We had something there that was, I don't know where it came from. It wasn't.
Okay.
So this will be there for all the groups. So we're going to keep it in the kitchen area, and there's no key that's needed for this, so the scoreboard will be accessible. But I think a lot of groups. I know basketball's looking at hosting some girls' 3rd and 4th grade games there, instructional plays there, and that get the kids sort of used to a clock, and just anybody that's having a practice in there, it's nice. You can actually have the clock count up or count down, so you can say, hey, we're doing this for 10 minutes, and you just set it.
So that'll just be a general usage
Yeah.
item for the hall.
Yep. So I think we'll get a lot of use out of it, so we want to thank Pickleball for that. It should be in tomorrow, actually. Yeah. So
Where'd they get it?
Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was ordered last night, and it's supposed to be here tomorrow. The place is amazing.
It took me 8 weeks to get a scoreboard made, so I just didn't know where they're getting this so fast. So.
Well, this is just a pre-made little, I think it was like $270 or something like that, so. Any other correspondence? Any updates on the snow shoveling position? Or?
Yeah, so I did speak to one of the two. We had 2 people that were interested. I contacted them both just to confirm. There was some confusion.
That it wasn't the turkey bowl.
Yeah. So Chad Pinciaro is interested. He's actually going to help with the turkey bowl, but he also wants to help out with the shoveling. The other guy I didn't hear back from. So right now we should have one confirmed, and then the second one is pending. Just still waiting to hear if he is definitely going to do it. I told him they'll both need to come in here to sign some paperwork, because they'll be employees of the town at that point. That we'll do next week. They'll be coming in.
And they'll have to go through the background check and everything, right? I would imagine. Well, they'll be in the hall, right? So, doesn't it?
They actually shouldn't be in. They don't need to go in the hall. Just the shed. Right.
I let the town manager make the determination
Yeah.
that's required, but I don't think any of the maintenance folks have had to go through in the past.
Okay.
I'll let the town manager make the determination.
Now, speaking of talent and those stairs, so the other night, Monday night, I heard this morning. Those stairs are kind of icy. Who's responsible for going by there and throwing some ice melt on there or
Our
whatever,
little
even if it doesn't snow?
People he's getting.
Well,
Yeah, it would be.
We have no one.
Yeah.
well,
Right.
the main snow removal will be handled by somebody
Right.
that we get. As far as the ice melt in there, basically, and we've got to sort of go back through all the people that are using the hall.
Mhm.
The responsibility is if you are in the hall,
Right.
you're responsible to make sure that the walks are clear. If it's not clear, you can't use the hall. If you want to use the hall, have the ice melt right there and just make sure that it's,
Is the ice melt right there?
that's the thing we gotta make sure we get.
So
Should
I
we-
think we should have some kind of a
Signage or
container
s-
to
or-
put the ice melt in, because if it's just a bag of ice melt, it's just gonna get.
Or
lost in
signage
it.
to say, I mean,
Well, we don't need signage, it just needs to be,
well, if Cornhole isn't aware of it, I mean, I would figure they're the ones that are there most often.
Pickleball, you mean?
I mean, pickleball,
This
sorry.
was basketball I was talking about, so.
Well, if someone's not spreading it, then why aren't they spreading it?
right. But I mean, all it needs, it's just a
But
refresher
if
for these
what I'm
people.
saying is, I'm not sure if the vast majority of those that attend or use the facility are aware of the fact that that it's there for their use.
Right.
I mean, what's the big deal about putting a bucket saying, spread,
Oh, okay, yeah.
when it's
I-
icy?
Right, yeah.
Like, yeah, just spread it out. I mean,
Yeah.
when it's icy,
So
please take care of stairs.
can you send a general email to all the users?
Yes.
Just to say,
Well, I'll send it to the group, so like baseball will get one, softball will get one, soccer will get one, and then they need to distribute it to their coaches and participants.
just so that they know we'll have someone taking care of the snow removal, but
Yeah.
that's not a full-time person, so if they get there and it is icy, then
Right.
we'll have the ice melt available to them, and they can.
But as you said, there's no bucket. Should we just go get a bucket? Just a regular old paint bucket and throw it in? And with a scoop?
Yeah, actually, what I'd like to do is get one of those hand spreaders. You know, it's like
Crank ones?
the
I
crank
think
ones.
there's one.
Scott's,
There's
Yeah.
one somewhere. I saw it. It's either in the softball shed or in our shed.
Okay, because we did have one a few years ago, I know, but we actually had like a little Scott spreader that was on wheels. But that's a little bit, you can't do it with the stairs with that, but, so, I mean, we can probably just go down to True Value and get that and order the ice melt and just get that,
I was gonna say, we're since Ben's not gonna be handling that, we're gonna need to stock up
yeah.
on the ice melt as well.
Would it be cheaper just to go down to the town garage and fill up a bucket with with their salt? That way we don't have to manage ice melt, bags of ice melt, we can just get it right from the highway department.
I hear somebody volunteer, no.
I don't care, I'll do it, I'll,
No, that wouldn't be bad,
Put
then
in
we
like
can
a
sort of take
small-
turns if it's.
I have
if it's
a
running
kitty
low.
litter container with a cover on it.
Or a small trash
plastic.
can.
Oh, yeah, we can buy some I would say get 2 containers.
I mean, instead of, and, you know, somebody could walk off with it, and if they do, then who cares, it's rock salt, you know, it's we go back to the highway department, we get more.
Right.
So I would say maybe let's get 2 containers, that way we can fill them, and when one's empty, we can go get it. And it's not, you have to go get it and bring it right back, it can be the next day or whatever, so that we always have one that's full on site. And,
We should have one at the front and one at back, right?
yeah, so maybe get 3 containers.
Are you gonna have one are you gonna leave them outside? We're not bringing them inside.
They have to be outside, I think, probably, right?
Yeah. But if they're in like a sealed
No,
trash
I
container
get
or
it.
something.
I know, until there's snow covering them, and then you can't find them because no one dug them out. But
Well, the one in the front will be easy, because there's a cover.
it's covered, yeah.
Isn't there a roof over the back, or no?
No,
Oh,
There's
okay.
not.
In the front, let's put it this way: the front, you definitely don't want it inside, especially in the front. It's
Yeah,
not
the
like
back we
you're
might
doing
want
it
on
on the
the
stage
inside.
or anything. You can't.
actually, it'll be better in the inside, because then it won't freeze in the back. It'll be, if it's warmer. If it's outside, it'll start clumping and freezing.
Well, we can put it inside and see if there's any
Yeah.
issues or anything, we can change it as needed. All right, so, I will talk to Jack and make sure he's good with that, the highway department, and, I'll grab some containers for that.
How about an update on the fields?
Well, other than the fact that the company that's doing the water installation, water pipe installation, they're dumping all their overburden in the lower in the lower field right now to try to build it back up again. That's really all that we have right at the moment. I mean, we have we're kind of waiting on someone to start working there again in terms of, once their season kind of comes to closer to a close, then I think they're going to hop over there and start working again. But, yeah, that's really just about it. I mean, we have the fundraiser night, Saturday night, and,
And it was decided to, we are gonna run a drainage pipe
yes.
from the back of the property to the swale in the front, so that if there is any water buildup, it's not gonna erode or soak the field.
We'll relieve a lot of that water from the back and bring it out to the front ditch, yeah. That's really just about the only engineering change, other than the fact that we're gonna take probably about a foot off of, the lot across the street and put road pack up there, make a ramp so that, cars can go up there and they're gonna park up there.
So before what are your expectations to get done before the weather gets bad?
Well, and this is from what I've been told, that they are going to regrade everything and screen the loam and possibly spread it before winter. But winter's coming really fast right now. I mean, the ground was frozen this morning. Not much, but I mean, it had a little bit of a freeze to it. So I don't know how much they're going to do, but they should be starting in the next week or so, from what I understand.
We were in a tight time frame trying to get the fields ready for next year, and it reached the point where we're like, to do it right, so the fields aren't going to be ready for next year. We still do want to do a dedication ceremony next year, but that way the fields, we can let the grass grow in and get real strong. I mean, they can probably use it for fall ball next year. So it won't be usable in the spring, so we'll have to come up with a backup plan for that 70-foot field that they need, because I know GMS option is
Still there.
it's still there, but then you have to buy a new mound because that mound's been destroyed.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, honestly,
Let's get
like
through the season.
the fact that we got slowed down is probably a good thing. I mean, we were trying to slam dunk this probably a little too fast, and now we were told to look at it a different way, and we're taking our time a little bit, and it's I lied to you. I said I was going to get it done by the spring. And
It's all right, you certainly made a best effort.
yeah, no.
yeah,
No, but I mean, we tried, and it's probably the best thing right now is to take it at the approach we're doing right now. But as far as the mound goes, it's not usable anymore, or
What happened with that? I know it got pushed over the fence or something like that.
it got leaned up on the side of the fence and it warped. So the lip goes up about 8 inches, so you can't. It's a ground ball will get hit and just stop, or worse yet, pop up and hit the pitcher. And
it's in the middle of the field right now. I'll swing by and take a look and see maybe if for some reason it.
well, maybe the winter
Settle
will
down.
soak it up and it will flatten out again.
We get a little bit.
Couple cinder blocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. I'll try that.
Any update on Winterfest?
We have a meeting on the 28th, which will be their first meeting, which is what, Monday after Thanksgiving?
Next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday. So, no, other than that being scheduled, and I don't know if I had mentioned before that the dog sled company that we've used every year.
Oh, yeah.
Seal Cove, they emailed me and they're not going to be able to do it this year. They did give me the name of another place to check, but one of the owners, she has cancer, so she's dealing with that, and she said she didn't want to commit to anything that she wasn't sure that she was going to be able to do. So she recommended we just go with somebody else this year. So hopefully that works out for us.
Is this someone else?
for her.
Yeah. You said you do have another potential? Or?
Yeah, she recommended another place in Massachusetts that she thought might do something similar for us. So.
It's a big draw.
Yeah. And last year we didn't have it because we didn't have the snow.
Yeah.
Um,
Although that
but,
inflatable was popular. last year?
Yeah, it's just, it's so expensive. Yeah, it was, but it probably it wasn't bad having a break from that, kind of that anchor event from one year, because we only, we only have so many people in town that, so you get to the point where people have been to the event before, right? So they, and most people have ridden the dog sleds, and, you might come in and with your kids and they say, we want to ride the dog sleds, and they say, well, you did it the last 2 years, we're not going to do it this year. So having that, kind of that 1 year hiatus might bring back some more interest in that, so.
It's almost like you gotta reinvent it every few years just to,
Yeah, and that's a hard thing to replace, to have something that, that's significant that you can do, and really for the money that we spend on that, it's, it's, we don't make money on it, but we break even and it brings people in,
Mhm.
so.
I did want to update you guys on basketball a little bit. The season got off to an interesting start. On Saturday, the first round of rec games, as you know, the new scoreboards went in. Unfortunately, the key was not stored where it was supposed to turn the scoreboards on, so they weren't able to use the scoreboards the first day. But that situation's been rectified. I guess now they have the keys for the switches chained to the box itself, so we'll always have access to it. Also, the temperature in the gym Saturday was probably around, I think it was in the high 80s, if not low 90s.
Yeah.
And then Jason contacted the school board, the maintenance program looked at it, and it turned out that the thermostat was defective. They've replaced it, and now it's comfortable. I mean, it was bad. Windows open, doors open, and kids were they had to rotate kids outside to cool them off a little bit. But I think, Mike, you had an early game that day, right?
Yeah, it was nice. It was fine for me.
It was still warm. It was still toasty there in the morning.
It was a little hot, but yeah.
But their season's off to a good start, so.
Let's see, did we get something from Kevin Lynch about the door handle?
It's
I was gonna ask that anyway.
Well, yeah.
It's
from
on,
our-
the last conversation I had with them, it's on order. But I do for some reason, I thought that keypad was on the side, but it's on the back door.
So it's just a box,
The
a
keypad?
white box.
Yeah.
Because I looked at it. I don't see any,
You gotta open it.
you got it, okay, I didn't see how to,
No, that's like
So
a real
flip.
estate thing right now.
Yeah.
You have a store. We're looking to get a replacement keypad
Okay.
for, like we had, but we want to put it on a different door, because I think one of the problems that we have is those doors are so big, and the double doors, it's just too much stuff going on.
Is there, here's my question, is the back door actually have a handle?
Yeah,
Outside just has a,
Just has a pull,
yeah,
at the front door.
the same thing as the side doors, they don't have handles either, they just have like a thing to pull.
Correct.
Okay.
Kevin put it on as a temporary measure.
so,
That's,
I mean, we'll take a look at it, and I'd love it on that side door, because that would be the perfect entry door.
Yeah,
But, we might have to,
Yeah.
make it the back door. But we will still, have a metal key for the front door, so if anybody that is using the hall, that's the first one there, that is a user of the hall, that is handicapped, that needs to use the front entrance, can. But everybody else will enter through the back door, and I think that just have the keypad up there and just make it the main entrance, I think will save the floor a lot too, so.
all right,
so it's on order, how long is it, we expecting us to get in?
I
mean,
don't
it's
know.
like-
he just said it was ordered.
Right.
Right,
He's probably running, I mean, I think I had 5 different locksmiths that were supposed to meet me, and finally just were like, no, I don't know if they just don't wanna deal with it, or, what the situation is, so. Hopefully he's able to find somebody that's used to it, and, or knows how the system works and is comfortable installing it and working with it. But we still need, the one question I had, John, is, we were talking about, we're gonna need a computer to drive the system. And I know you said there's a laptop here, so what would the process be for us to, like, when we need to reset things, we would need access to to that computer?
I think what I said is, would put in the police department, so dispatcher's office, you have access to it.
Okay,
If they
So-
put it in the town side, you likely come in when the town's closed, and not be able to get to it.
right, okay. So once we get it, we'll just get the software and we'll get it loaded on there.
Just give me the software, I'll get it loaded up, and then we'll get you access to the computer, and we'll make sure they understand how to give it out to you.
Okay, because that'll be better than having it in the hall, because if something does happen and we have to reprogram it, and we can't get in the hall to reprogram it, we have access from outside, which would be good. So,
And that, so we're gonna put the new lock on the back door on the top of the stairs.
yeah. That way it's right next to the alarm pad, so they can come in the back door, deactivate the alarm. What we're gonna do is with the lights, because the lights are in the front, the instruction's gonna be never turn the lights off in the front. Because they
Yeah.
automatically go, they're, you know, if there's no motion, they shut off after 15 minutes. So we're better off just leaving them on, and when people walk in, they'll turn on, when they leave, they'll turn off. And we don't have to worry about somebody walking into the building and then having to go across the floor in the dark and turn
Is
the
there
lights
still a
on.
switch there, someone can still turn it off, though?
Yeah,
You should probably ask Kevin to have someone come in and take the switch out. Wired, hardwired.
You can put
Well-
a
Or
cover
put a
over
cap,
it.
or a cap over it.
Yeah.
right, we want to be able to shut them off, because like during a comedy night or something like that, we don't want all the overhead lights on. But, I mean, we're just gonna make a nice sign for now to say, do not, leave these switches on.
There's like 6 or 7 switches too,
Yeah,
so it'd be
so
hard to find a
let's
cover.
turn them all off now.
I know.
Right, but I mean, if
I
they're
mean,
not,
I think it changed. I mean, let's put it this way: if people get used to coming in the back door and the lights come on every time they come in the back door, and you say, I mean, they won't even, and they exit through the back door, they won't think about shutting the lights off.
right,
Thing is, I mean, I've been turning them on and off because since I first started going there, because the first person who told me to go in there said turn them on and off. So now you're just used to it, and you just
well, that's because
telling other people.
we replaced the lights
Right.
since then, so.
But I mean, I
the light
don't
on
think
the-
other people know. It's just habit at that point.
The light on the stage, is that on a motion?
Yes.
It is. So that'll come on first and then the others will come on. Okay. Turkey Bowl is all set. I didn't look at the sign up genius today, but I think there's roughly 15 people as of maybe yesterday signed up for both teams, for each team. Jason and I went over and lined the field. That's all done. So John Bryan is going to kind of coordinate everything Thursday morning since we won't be there. You guys won't be there,
No,
will you?
not doing this
Anyone
year.
no one's going to be there? All right, I'll make sure John knows. We put everything in the snack shack, all the flags and the footballs and whatever else. So,
Those footballs might get deflated if you leave them in the cold, though.
Someone will have an advantage.
we are doing the donation for some type of a non-perishable item for the Litchfield Food Pantry. So we'll have that there, and they are going. That'll either be we're trying to get them to come by and pick the whatever we have donated. Have someone come by and pick it up, since Jason and I won't be there to deliver it. Otherwise, it'll get delivered when we get back.
Any other items for discussion? Anything from the town that you need to let us know, John?
I think your budget's all set, right?
On the budget, we still needed to adjust the.
Yeah, so I know they reached out to John. I don't know if they connected, but the thought was they would just do a deliberative change, if they had to do a change.
All right.
So if we still think the budget is in,
There was 2 items that we were looking at adjusting. One was the
Maintenance.
the custodian groundskeeper
yep,
line, bringing that back to where it was.
the full amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, there was some issues around.
Other was electricity, right? We're gonna put in another.
I thought the other one was the field maintenance.
Oh, because of we're not gonna really have to
So
worry
that may
as
not
much.
be an issue then, yeah.
Right,
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
because with the additional field space, but it's really gonna be, it'll still need to be somewhat maintained next year, but it's not gonna be as much for the full year, so that'll be in part of the new contract for the following year.
Yeah, I'll follow up with Troy tomorrow and see where they connected what was adjusted, what was going to be adjusted, and we have an opportunity to go back to the budget committee in January to ask them to adjust it. As far as, I missed one meeting, the only thing I can think of is they have to come in front of the board and get the board to agree, but Troy has not brought that forward yet that I can recall, so. But I'll touch base with them tomorrow and see what the thoughts were.
Do we get a credit from them for 4 months for Jeff Lane? They haven't had to touch it in 4 months. Well, like, maintain it, fertilize it, aerate it. Should we get either some sort of stipulation next year saying that, well, all right, we did build a bigger field, but guess what? You didn't,
Yeah.
you didn't have to do anything for 4 months at the end of the season.
I thought from my discussion, he was billing as he went along. Like, he was billing for what he actually did.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. I think
So if he wasn't doing a lot of Jeff Lane, then he wasn't billing for Jeff Lane, so.
But I mean, his contract is,
There's a rate set there too, I think it's a max or not to exceed, but.
So I guess the question would be, is he billing in, monthly increments of the total amount
yeah,
that he contracted for, or is he billing for what he actually does?
Right.
yeah.
He had said, well, when I talked to him, he said he was actually billing for what I actually did. So, you know what I mean? Now, mind you, he probably went over budget on Dara alone.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? So, I don't know how it's gonna balance out overall over the course of his tenure.
Is there anybody on the commission talking to him on a regular basis, though, to see how?
John is.
John is?
Yeah.
It's probably worth a question, right?
Yeah.
And because if there's money left over in this year's part of the contract, can it be forwarded until next year's to do the odd maintenance at Jeff versus? I guess that's worth a conversation.
Yeah. I'll try and reach out, because I do want to get the adjusted numbers for, well, we don't really need it for next year, but.
Well, the question is, don't we? Because realistically, we're talking the budget. The budget year ends July to June.
No, it's,
No, it's calendar year.
Oh, it is?
It's calendar.
yeah,
Yeah, even though the budget doesn't get approved till
Right.
March, we don't
Okay.
start spending till April, we spend as it's been approved. Which causes a problem when it doesn't get approved. But,
yeah. One thing I was remiss, we should have welcomed, we have a new alternate member, Mr. Kurt Schaefer. So,
Welcome aboard.
he was approved by the
Pints
Board of
of blood at the
Selectmen
door.
2 weeks ago, or last week,
no, 2 weeks ago.
and sworn in last week, so.
It's my pleasure to be here.
I'm assuming you appointed him for tonight's meeting. You appointed him as, he's an alternate, right? Is he voting tonight?
Yes, he's taking John Bryant's voting.
So you voted him in as the full member for tonight, right? The minutes should say that.
I can never hear you, John.
Do we?
My wife doesn't talk too
Never
loud.
So
hear you.
let
I
me,
sit here and
hold
just-
on, let me,
As an
so,
alternate, you're supposed to appoint him to the
at
board
the beginning of the meeting?
at the beginning of the meeting.
Temporarily.
So, just so that so you're basically, the minutes say he's now acting as a full member to vote. I would just note that in the minutes and just
Alright,
remember.
that voids every meeting we've had for the last 4 years.
I understand.
So we have to redo our votes, or are we good?
No, don't worry
Okay,
about it.
all right.
Oh, we still
Just
had
note
four,
it.
we still had four, even if he wasn't able to vote.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you still have a quorum.
Civil quorum, yeah. Okay.
So my
But
point is-
hopefully,
My point is, make sure it's in the
Okay.
minutes.
Thank
They
you,
used
John.
to
Now I
slow
can hear
enough
you.
now.
Now I can hear. Thank you so much.
They used to tell me my vote counted. I guess it doesn't, does it?
any other items for discussion,
The
or?
only other thing I had, this was also from Kevin Lynch,
He's probably watching, right?
yeah, I'm sure he is.
Got nothing else to do, right?
supposed to be
All the
getting a
porta
walk.
potties were winterized, they're staying on site, as we did last year.
Yeah, I
They were
noticed.
just winterized and locked.
I went for a walk. They're not locked.
Oh, there's one.
The one down at
Wow,
Sawmill
they're-
was totally open and being used.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know why someone drove down. I watched them drive down, use it, and leave. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
They drove in to use it?
They do it.
drove in.
Gotta
There's,
go-
there's someone every
there
day
was
doing that.
nothing going
Some
on.
day,
I'm taking
every
my
way-
dog for a
every
walk.
day
When you
someone's
gotta
on
go,
it.
you gotta go.
Yeah.
I think so. I think there's someone who seemingly regularly goes down there to use it.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
My last.
So it's
choice.
not locked, let's put it that way, and being used.
Did Kevin say they were supposed to be locked?
He said they're closed.
He actually
Last
said,
year
no,
they locked
actually,
my
he
car.
actually said that they were all removed except for Dara.
Oh, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
he
they're
said-
closed.
No, he said,
How do we all
they're all
read this?
closed,
Yeah.
except there.
Okay.
And that's what we did last year.
Yeah.
Closed, okay.
'cause we
And
thought-
last year, it was locked because a snowmobile like drove into it and totally dented it.
Yep.
This year, it's not locked and it's accessible, but
Didn't we have one get knocked over last year or
it
something?
was the one at Sawmill, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
The one at Corning Field is gone.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's something that we leave there, or did they just pull it for the
So we
winter?
used to have them removed for the winter,
Yeah.
Right,
and then they said, well, you don't have to do that, we can just winterize them on site, leave them where they are, and then
Yeah.
they'll be there in the spring, we'll just open them up again.
Well, mine's missing right now. Yeah. Hopefully they'll show back up in the spring.
Since someone's back yet, temporarily.
Heck of a
so-
morning.
Any word from Nathan Blow, by the way, on the,
I had that question
oh,
too.
you do? Oh,
No,
okay, no.
no, I was
No,
wondering
not a
about
peep.
that.
because I dropped that sign panel off, what, about 5-6 weeks ago now? And his plan was to have it up by Thanksgiving,
Ooh,
so, just in case we're looking at the
He's
calendar,
got one day.
yeah,
so I'll, maybe we'll just send him an email and see what the status is, because he's gonna run out of ability to dig holes pretty soon.
Just need bigger tools.
Yeah.
Oh, that also reminds me of the batting cages, for the softball fields. We are waiting for frost and probably snow cover to take the trees down, so it doesn't damage the fields. So we kinda held that off till the spring to get the installation done, for that reason.
Right. Nothing else? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Or, go ahead.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Carries 6